Very warm welcome to today's lab series on microcontroller lab. Experiment number 4 is going to talk about the serial data transfer, wherein we'll be using the concept of universal asynchronous receiver transmission concepts. The data will be sent on a packet of 8 bits, wherein we have a defined start and stop bit. I, Professor Prasanna D. Kulkarni, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication from KLS VDIT Haryar, is presenting this video lecture series. So before we go into the program, let us understand the level of Bloom's taxonomy. This experiment belongs to level 3, that is applying, wherein we'll be using an idea of serial communication and we'll try to send a series of messages from our the keyboard to the computer. The title of the experiment which I'm going to deal with is write a program to transmit and to receive a set of characters serially by interfacing 8051 to a terminal. So the exact definition of my program that I'm going to write here is writing an assembly code to send the following string. I want to send a series of string of data on a serial transfer channel, and the string that I'm going to write is KLS Vishwanath Rao Deshpande Institute of Technology to the system, to the PC through a serial cable. So this is the overall definition of sending a data that I'm going to perform in this particular experiment. So before we go into experiment, let us understand what exactly the connection diagrams that we need to do to perform this particular interfacing. You can observe that we are going to use RS232, which is also called as DB9 pin, and the pin numbers are as indicated. On top, we are having total 5 pins available as it is indicated. That is pin number 1, pin number 2, pin number 3, pin number 4, and pin number 5. Okay, out of this, pin number 2 is called as RxD pin. So please remember, this is an important one. Pin number 2 is called as RxD, which is used for receiving 8-bit data. It is meant for receiving the data. Similarly, the pin number 3, which is called here as TXD, pin number 3 is called as TXD, which is used for the transmission of the data. So these two pins are very important as far as the serial transfers are considered. And also we can see that RS232 needs an voltage conversion, because RS232 was employed in 1980s, wherein it has not been compatible with TTL logic families, because TTL logic family was evolved after the invention of this RS232 pin. And therefore here the logic voltages, if you observe, the plus 1 voltage is represented by minus 3 to minus 12 volts, and the positive voltages are these are represented for logic 1, and the positive voltages, that is plus 3 to plus 12 volts, plus 3 to plus 12 volt is used for the representing of logic 0. I think you have understood why I am highlighting this particular things over here. Okay, so when you have discussed the theoretical concepts before we went into this programming concept, was that uh, the RS232 is meant for serial transfer, and basically two important channels I'm going to use called as RxD and TXD, but these two channels are not compatible to TTL, whereas my microcontroller 8051 uses all TTL logic family. It belongs to the transistor logic family, wherein the logic 1 is represented by voltage ranging from 2.7 to 5 volts. Okay, whereas in logic 0 is represented by the less than 2.5 volts. And TTL logic family is ranging from 2.7, as we have discussed. So therefore we need an converter, which is called as the MAX232, implemented by a company called as Maxim, which will convert the voltages from RS232 standards to TTL logic family. So we use a IC in between the RS232 cable and our microcontroller, which is called as MAX232 IC. So we just make simple connections from RxD to T1, T2 input of MAX232, and the TXD pin is connected to R1, R2 pin of the MAX232. And the output of this MAX232, that is T1 and T2 outputs, are connected to the TXD line of microcontroller, which is available in port 3. So port 3 line we use for the TXD connection from MAX232. And similarly, the R1, R2 pin, which is a receiver pin, will be connected to RxD pin of the microcontroller. So these two are the important connections that we do for sending data serially through an hardware interface. So to make this in a more detailed way, I have connected even a pin diagram to show you that from the keyboard, that where we give the input data serial, that I'm going to send a string of data here. I'm going to give it from over my keyboard. I need to type that string from the keyboard. Okay, and that will be sent to the RxD. RxD is nothing but pin number 10 of 8051. Okay, as you know that 8051 is having 40 pin. Out of that, pin number 10 is called as RxD. So I'll be connecting a transmit line from the keyboard. It is connected to RxD pin so that 8051 can receive a data, and to send it to display. So display for me here is a monitor. Okay, from our computer, the monitor itself will be used as our display. So the data which is received from the keyboard will be received by this 8051, and I be writing a program for this 8051 to receive this data, and this data will be sent on TXD line. So from the TXD, that is pin number 11, the data will be sent to the monitor. This is the overall connection or a pin diagram for this particular interface. So let us now understand the program write up, how to write program for this one. Okay, before we write a program, we should make two important parts in this one. That first one is the storage of the string. So I will store the string at address from 9000H, CAC at 9000, and I created a name of this array called as data1. Under this data1, I am going to call a string, and all the string will be defined as a byte size. So every character which I put in the string will consume 8 bits. Okay, so that is called as the declaration of the data byte, which is one of the data type used in the assembly as well as in C language. So DB is one of the data type used, which will indicate that every character or every ASCII that I'm transferring will be consuming 8 bits internally. So it is ultimately you are creating a memory. In that memory you are storing the string, and each string will consume 8 bits, and the terminus of the string is indicated by a null character. In assembly we represent this null character by a value. That value is 00H. This 00H is used as a termination. So whenever I receive a string value as 00, I will understand that my string has been terminated. So that is the reason why we always assert 00 at the end of this particular string characters. I think you have understood how to declare a string before we do actual data transfers. In this second fragment of the main program, now I write my actual program. This actual program is written at a address location 8200H onwards. First of all, I will make my register, the timer registers. Also, always I use the timer 1 for my serial data transfer. It's a default timer used for this. So all in our theory detailed discussions, we have highlighted this particular point. So to enable that timer, we use a value move tmod comma hash 20h. This will enable that particular timer for our operations. Okay, that is timer 1 operated in mode 1 operations. Then I need to set the data transfer rate, which we call it as baud rate. I'll be sending at a baud rate of 9600, and to achieve this baud rate I need to send th1 with a value 0fa. If I send this, I'll be setting a baud rate of 9600 bits per second. That is what the transfer rate I achieve between these two. Then move scon comma hash 50h. So scon is moved with 50h, which will show you that I'm going to do a asynchronous transfer wherein we have one start bit and we have one stop bit. That is the indication of this move scon comma hash 50h. And then I start my timer. To start this timer, I use an instruction called as set btr1. This will start our timer, and we'll be setting this particular baud rate, that is 9600. When this timer starts doing the counting operation, ultimately we achieve this particular baud rate. Then I need to fetch my data, that is the string of data. I need to fetch it. So therefore I make my dptr to point to that location, that is data underscore 1, which is previously declared. So move dptr comma hash data1. Ultimately I get the address location of that data1, first address location. Okay. Then my job is to fetch the data one after the other. That I do by using movex instruction. Movex a comma add the dptr. So whatever is the first character, for example, in my first character it was k. The equivalent value of k ASCII will be copied in accumulator. That is what job that is done. Okay. Then I check whether this character is 0. If this character is 0, I need to stop my transfer, and therefore I need to keep on doing this job unless until I get a 0 character, which is a termination. So therefore once I get 0 character, I directly jump to a forward loop, which is simply nop and end. That is a termination. But unless until I don't get this 0, I should continue doing the next job. What is my next job? Is calling a subroutine program. A call routine. Routine is a label. So ultimately my program will jump from this to here. Okay, my program will jump from here. This will skip these two lines. It is not going to execute these two. It directly jumps here. Now what we do here simply is copy the content of accumulator to sbuf register. As we know that sbuf is an important register for serial transfer. To send as well as to receive, we need this sbuf register. Is a compulsion, and therefore I use this sbuf register for doing this job. Okay, so accumulator content is copied to sbuf, and then my next job is to check for the TI, that is a transmit interrupt flag. So this flag will be generated once the data is successfully transmitted. That is, each character 8 bits are transmitted, then only this flag will be set, which is an indication that that data is successfully sent on the output of SBUF. And from SBUF, because you have connected RS-232 cable, the data can be sent on the cable. It will be received by the monitor. So JNB TI comma here, this was a indication to check how long the data is on SBUF register. So once data is available on SBUF, successfully all the 8 bits are transmitted, I need to check whether it is not set. JNB, jump if no bit. Unless and until TI is not set to 1, unless and until it is not set to 1, I should keep on monitoring TI. And once it becomes equal to 1, once it confirms that it is 1, it means that my data is transmitted. Then my job is to clear this TI flag and return. Return will get me back to the next line of subroutine. Oh, that is increment dptr. So dptr gets incremented and I go to short jump back. Jump will get me here. That is back. I load the next character. So after K, what is the next character? L. Again for L, equivalent ASCII has been fetched. And again I check whether that value has been successfully transmitted by TI. Once it is confirmed, I go back. Then I fetch the next character, which is nothing but our S. Like that, I fetch one by one characters, and that character is sent on display, which is on monitor. This is the overall program. Once the last character, which is 00, is received, the program will directly jump because of this JZ. The program will directly jump from here to forward. Forward will simply make your program to go for end, which means that successfully your data is transmitted. I think you people have understood the overall program for serial data transfer. Now coming to the actual hardware execution, how do we do this? So first of all, I have to load my Intel hex file. You know the procedure how to load this Intel hex file by pressing a tab on L. We get this particular instruction. Then you need to fetch your hex file. You need to download it. Once the download is done, it will show you the number of bytes which are received, 89 bytes, unless until there are no errors. Okay, if there are errors, you should go back and see that the errors are removed from the program. And once this successfully is downloaded, then I have to press a simple instruction called as N. If you press instruction called as N, I go to new location. And in this new location, I need to type the program address where my program is written. As you have seen in the program, my program address is written at 8200. So therefore, after pressing N, I need to press 8200. Once then, the program will jump to this address location. You can observe the change. Earlier I was in 8000. Now the new address is 8200 where my program is written. And for execution of the program, I press J. J is for jump to memory location. We directly execute the entire program at a stretch. Once we do this program execution, ultimately on the monitor, you will see the serial data which is transferred as this. What is being indicated here? KLS Vishwanath Rao Deshpande Institute of Technology. This is the message which we display. So this is one of the important program which you always prefer Whenever you want to send data to a monitor, you want to send data to any peripheral or to a printer, this is how we make use of this particular program for serial data transfer. I hope so people have understood how do you write the programs, how do you do an interfacing to this, and also how do you get the results generated from this. I thank you for listening to this, and in upcoming the lab lecture series, you will find some more programs with this. I thank you for attending to this. Thank you, Mananda.